Hey, beautiful people, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome on board. Join the family by clicking on the subscribe button. Down here, it's actually red, free, and convenient. And to my CJ family members, the realest MVPs, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for sticking with me right till this point. I'm actually very excited to see you guys again because it's actually been a long while I showed my face on the channel. So I'm so happy to see you guys. On today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to cut and sew a shaped box dress that has a cut together sleeve from this back of your neck, that's from the nape of your neck down to the mid arm, and it actually has a turn up sleeve with two inner pockets. If this is something you like to learn, then you want to stick to the end of this video to enjoy it. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I made use of this beautiful mixed color Ankara print with a pair of scissors, thread, chalk, and ruler. The first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be ruling a starting point line, then we're going to be taking measurement from our shoulder to breast point line, which mine was 10.5 inches. Then we're going to be extending the lines horizontally as shown. After that, we're going to be taking our half length measurement, which mine was 17 and a half. After that, we are going to be extending the lines. Then we're going to be marking the full length of the gown, which mine was 39 inches plus 3 inches allowance for the hemline. I'm going to be using 2.5 inches for the hem, then half inches for the shoulder point. Then we're going to be extending the line as shown. I'm trying to make the line visible for you guys to see. The fabric is actually folded into four. Now we're going to be taking our neckline measurement. I took 3 inches in width, 3.5 inches in width, and 3.5 inches in depth for the front neckline. Then for the back neckline, I actually took 1.5 inches in length and 3.5 inches in depth. After that, I connected the line as shown. Make sure to cuff it properly. After doing that, we are going to be measuring our neckline measurement. That's to be taking the sleeve from the nape of our neck down to where we want the sleeve to stop. Then we'll be adding about 3 or 4 inches extra allowance for the turn up. Now we are going to be inserting our horizontal body measurement. My bust measurement divided by 4 plus 3 inches allowance. After dividing my bust measurement, the end measurement was 11.5. So I added the 11.5 at the bust point. Then I marked it. The same measurement is what I'm going to be imputing on the waistline as well as on the hemline. This is actually a box shift dress, so it's not going to be having hip measurement. It's going to be straight from up down to the hemline. After doing that, we are going to be connecting the lines vertically as shown. Then we are also going to be connecting the lines to the sleeve part. Don't forget that it is your breast point measurement you're going to be using as the length of the sleeve. On the shoulder point, I came down by 1 inches for the shoulder slant. After marking the shoulder slant, we are going to be connecting the lines like this. Make sure to connect the lines to the neckline. The next step will be to cut the fabrics. We are going to be cutting the back neckline first. Then the shoulder slant. Don't forget to cross check your measurements to ensure that it is accurate.
Where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down.
Then we are going to be separating the back dress from the front. After separating the back from the front, the next step will be to cut the front neckline.
I don't have to plan it, I can go change my fate. You won't understand it, all alone, that's okay. People I can't stand them, they don't want me to change. Keep me where I'm standing, and I don't wanna be where I am. And I want something more, take a chance.
Note that the front neckline is going to be having a slit of about 3.5 inches.
I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down.
Now we are going to be marking the point where we are going to be making that open slit at the front. If you're measuring from the shoulder point to that point, it will be about 7 inches. But if from the neckline that is open is going to be about 3.5 inches. Now we are going to be inserting our facing on the front neckline. We're going to be inserting these pieces of material underneath the front dress. Then we are going to be tracing out the neckline. But before that, don't forget to pin down the fabric to the facing in order to avoid the fabric from shifting.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race.
From the neckline, we're going to be coming out by about 3.5 inches
Had to find a way to
to the
change,
shoulder
had to
point.
leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind
Then
up
we are
there
going
almost
to be
daily. It's how I pass
extending
time, no
that
opinions
3.5
safely. It's how I understand
inches
what I want in this place, see.
to
Cause
the
everybody wanna tell you
facing,
bad things,
tracing out the neckline.
success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be.
Then we are going to be tracing out the neckline as shown. In order to get the accurate measurement, we are going to be placing the facing on top of the front neckline of the front dress. The length of the front is about 4 inches for the facing. I'm going to be giving the front facing a slight curve close to the lower part of the front neckline. Then for the measurement, we are going to be extending that 3.5 inches from that upper part to the other part of the neck facing as shown below. After marking it, we are going to be connecting the lines together, then we are going to be cutting it out. You can decide to give your facing any curve of your choice.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page,
Now it's
but I
time
didn't
to
like their
make
way.
the slit
Had to fight and
on
misbehave,
both
had to
the
find a way to
fabric
change,
as
had
well
to leave to
as
find my way.
on the facing.
Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place. See, 'cause
Don't
everybody
forget
wants
that
to
the
be bad things.
facing
What could go
is
wrong?
4
One
inches
thing,
in
breathe life.
length on the
Success
lower
is a
part
finicky
of the
thing. If
neckline.
you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down,
But when we are going to be opening the slit, we are going to be opening 3.5 inches, both on the facing as well as on the fabric.
I will run away. I don't have to plan it. I can go change my fate. You won't understand it. All alone, that's okay.
Then we're going
People
to
I
be
can't stand
pinning it
them. They
down.
don't want me to change. Keep me where
After
I'm
doing the
standing.
front facing, we're going to be doing the back facing also. We'll be repeating the same process, but there will be no slit at the back of the facing of the dress. After tracing out the neckline and extending the facing on the shoulder point by 3.5 inches at the upper part, we're going to be placing the facing on top of the dress as shown. Then we're going to be cutting out the excess. After doing that, we'll be placing the measurement of the facing. For the back facing, the measurement I used was 3.5 inches all through. If you know you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel by clicking on the
Grew
subscribe
up in a
button and
place
putting on
where
the
they told
post
you what to
notification
chase,
bell so
told
you'll
you
be
how
the
to run the
first
race.
to know.
Every move was on the page, but I
Now
didn't
for
like
the
their way.
pocket part,
Had
we
to
are
fight
going
and
to be
misbehave.
marking our
Had to find a way
waistline.
to change. Had to leave to find my way.
Then we'll be coming down from our
Caught up
waistline
in a
by one
daydream. I beat
inch.
my mind
Then
up there almost daily. It's how I
it is
pass
that
time,
one
no
inch
opinions
point we are
safely.
going
It's
to
how I
be
understand what I
placing
want
the
in this place.
pocket.
See, 'cause everybody wanna
In
tell me
order
bad
for us
things.
to
What could
get the
go wrong?
measurement
One
of the
thing, breathe
pocket, we are
life.
going to be
Success is a
placing
finicky
our
thing.
hand
If you
down
ain't sure, no, it'll never
as a
be.
template in order for us to be able to know the measurements of how wide we want the pocket to be and how our hand will be able to fit into it. For mine, I took about 7.5 inches in length. After taking that 7.5 inches, I still use my hand to fit into it to see how well it's going to fit. Then I made a slight curve from that 7.5 inches as shown. After doing that, I connected the curves together. After connecting the curve, the next part would be to cut out the pockets. Mind you, the pieces of the pocket is 4 in quantity. I folded the fabric into 4 and made the measurements. After cutting, we have 4 pieces of this fabric. Two of the pieces will be for the front and 2 will be for the back. Now we're going to be fixing our facing. We're going to be facing right side facing each other, and then we're going to be stitching it down as shown.
Grew up in a place where they told you what to chase,
After
told
stitching
you how
it
to
down,
run
we
the
are going
race.
to be notching the
Moves on the
edges to
page,
enable the
but I didn't like
neckline
their
to
way.
relax
Had to fight and
properly.
misbehave, had to find a way to change,
Now
had
we
to
are
leave to
going
find
to
my
be
way.
top stitching on
Caught
the
up in a
right
daydream,
side
I beat my
of the
mind up here
facing.
almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place. See, cause
This
everybody
will
wanna tell you bad
enable
things.
the
What could go wrong?
neckline
Cross
to
and breathe,
stay
but
in
success is a
without
finicky thing.
coming
And
out.
if you ain't sure, no, it ain't
After
meant to
doing
be.
that, we're going to be giving it a nice press. Now for the front neckline, we'll be facing right side facing each other. We'll be stitching from one edge of the neckline and the other edge first. After doing that, we're going to be notching the edges. Now we are going to be stitching the open part of the front neckline. But before that, we are going to be top stitching those edges that we stitched. We'll be top stitching on the right side of the facing, not on the main fabric, but on the facing. Now we are going to be stitching that other open part, that's the lower part of the neckline, that place that there's a slit. Make sure to stitch it straight and then you curve it where there is a curve and follow it back upward. Then we're going to be notching the center part of that place to enable it to relax properly. Then we're going to turn it inside out as shown. After doing this, make sure to give it a nice press. At this point, I had already inserted the pocket because I don't want the video to be too long. After inserting the pocket and stitching it with about half an inch and joining the sides, this is how it looks. Now we're going to be doing the turn up of the sleeve. The first step will be to fold our sleeve by 2 inch inward. After stitching it 2 inches inward, we're going to be doing the same process for the other sleeve. Then we're going to be folding
Grew
it
up
back
in a place where they told you what
upwards.
to chase, told you how to run the
After
race.
folding it back
Every move
upward,
was
we
on
are
the
going to be
page,
top
but I
stitching the
didn't like their way.
edges of
Had to fight
the
and
center
misbehave,
point of the
had to
upper
find a way
part
to
of the
change,
sleeve and the
had to leave
center
to find
point
my
of
way.
the lower part of the sleeve.
Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up here almost daily. It's how I pass
After
time, no
top
opinions safely. It's how
stitching
I
the
understand what
upper
I want in this
part,
place. See,
as well
Everybody
as
wanna
the
tell you bad things,
lower
what could go
part.
wrong, what fame brings, but success is a finicky thing. And if you ain't sure, no,
Our
it'll
turn
never
up
be.
sleeve is now ready as well as the lower hemline because we folded the lower hemline by 2.5 inches. After folding the lower hemline, this is how it looks like. This is the finished look. My goodness, how does it feel when you create something so beautiful as this with your hands? Aren't you going to be so proud? Well, I'm proud. I'm okay with it. I love it. I just love the outcome, the sleeve length, the turn of sleeve, the open front here, and the freeness of the gown. Also, the length gives me so much joy. I'm so going to be rocking this gown to a casual outing. You can share yours also with me on Instagram and tag me at Selling Jerry's. Hmm. My. Isn't this so beautiful? Let me look at myself a little bit more. Hmm. Love it. Yeah, actually do. If you know you enjoyed this tutorial and you'd like to see more of this and you've not subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button down here and it's actually red and free also. Then don't forget to leave your thoughts, ideas, suggestions down in the comment section below. Until next time, I will see you beautiful people on the next video. Bye guys. Mwah.